If you were a kid of the 80s, you may remember playing Pac-Man, watching Star Wars, and you may have even had a poster of your favorite car on your bedroom wall. I'm Collin, and this is a Lamborghini Countach. The Lamborghini Countach was first introduced in 1974 and was subject to many changes until the production ended in 1990. The Countach was an instant icon and was on many bedroom walls of the time, and was even featured in the hit film The Wolf of Wall Street. They even destroyed a real one for that film. Anywho, the Countach gets a bad rap for being bad to drive and not practical. So the question is, should you meet your heroes? Well, let's find out. The Lamborghini Countach was designed by Bertone Design House in Italy. Specifically Marcello Gandini, who designed the Mira before this. Since this is a later car, it looks more aggressive than the original LP400 Periscopo, which was most notably the fender molding and the wider tires. The Lamborghini Countach has always been synonymous with aggressive design. One part of the car that really stood out was all this ducting up here. This NACA duct and this ductwork here behind this window leads to the radiator which cools the engine. The very top of this duct leads to the engine bay. The famous wing on the Lamborghini Countach never actually came on the car out of the factory. Lamborghini couldn't put it on the car out of the factory due to safety regulations, so they hired a guy in an outside parking lot to install the wings after they left the factory. Here at the back of the Countach, you can see its iconic rear profile. This Countach, being a US spec car, has been fitted with these rear bumpers because of US safety regulations. Here in the back of the Countach is your only storage compartment. It is just big enough for a few small bags. And in the engine bay of the Countach, you will find a 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V12 that makes 450 horsepower and 360 pound-feet of torque. And on the windshield of the Lamborghini Countach, you will find your singular windshield wiper. As you move down, you will find your main running lights, as well as your pop-up headlights, and of course, the centerpiece, the Lamborghini Raging Bull. And obviously, this being a US spec car, this has the large front bumper. And to get into the Lamborghini Countach, you have to grab your door latch under the NACA vent, and you have to lift up to unveil your scissor doors. Now, the Lamborghini Countach was the very first car with scissor doors because they had to solve a problem that they created. More on that in a minute. Now, you can gracefully get into the seat by sitting down on this rocker panel and just sliding in. Now after that, it is difficult because it's a very snug fit in here. So here we are inside of the Lamborghini Countach, and the first thing I notice as a 6-foot-tall man, it is very tight in here. My legs are all the way up against the steering wheel and almost up here against the shifter, and headroom is practically non-existent. And up on the tunnel is your centerpiece 5-speed dogleg gated manual transmission that is activated by an incredibly stiff clutch. As we move our attention to the dash, you will find your analog gauge cluster, which has all the information you need to know about the car, and I personally think it looks really cool. And since the windshield has such a long rake, there's a lot of dash space in front of you, and at the very front of it are your defroster vents. Up on the center console is all your air controls and your Alpine stereo. If you come down here, you of course have your hazard lights, your pop-up headlight button, etc. And the windows are crank-up manual windows, and because of how angled this car is, they were only able to get a little slit of it that will actually move up and down. So don't plan on grabbing a Happy Meal through the drive-thru in this car. And of course, being a Lamborghini, it is wrapped in very nice Italian leather. And then to get out of the car, you have to grab your hidden door latch up in the door. And getting out of the Countach is always an event. You have to contort your legs around the steering wheel, and then you have to avoid damaging the dash with your shoes. After your legs are out of the car, it's not so bad. One of the most interesting things about the Lamborghini Countach is how it got its name. Famously, there was a staff member of Lamborghini who only spoke Piedmontese, which is a Romance language mostly spoken in the northwest region of Italy. Said staff member was easily amazed at things, and his catchphrase around the office was Countach, which is a word of expression equivalent to my goodness. Anywho, Marcello Gandini wrote Countach on the back of the car as a joke, and Bob Wallace, the test driver, played along. It wasn't until staff members of Lamborghini said that they actually liked the name that it stuck. Between 1974 and 1990, a 16-year-long production run, there were 1,963 Countaches ever made. And there were 631 LP5000 QVs made between 1985 until the end of the production run. And back to the scissor doors. The problem was that visibility was so horrible in the car, and you couldn't see out the rear well enough to safely back the car up. So they installed scissor doors so that you could lean out of the car, look back, and reverse the car in a somewhat safe manner. Now, let's go for a ride. As I find myself in the Lamborghini Countach, I really begin to feel how special it is. The way you see out of the car and how low to the ground it is feels very unique. The massive rake in the windshield gives a very spaceship-like feeling. Visibility is practically non-existent. The side windows are small and hard to see out of. The rear window is blocked by huge bulges in the hood, and if that wasn't enough, the massive rear wing was there as well. Looking forward isn't terrible, but not the best either. It is also very uncomfortable. The ride is stiff and the seats are very small and non-supportive. It almost feels like you're sitting on the carpet with a little leather padding. As I have previously stated, room in the car also does not exist. As I am 6 feet tall, I have to slouch down in the seat so my head isn't wedged against the roof of the car. It is by far the most uncomfortable car I've ever been in. However, you start to all forget about that once you hear the V12 growl. The power is a very old-schooled feel, and being a V12, it's torquey. You also feel everything in the car. Every bump, every crack, every pothole, you feel it. You also feel like a superhero in the Countach. Everyone is taking photos and giving you a thumbs up as it attracts a lot of attention. Going down the road, the Countach looks unlike anything else. The hard wedge with all the air ducts in the rear wing make it look like a spaceship taking the form of a car. And all the imperfections of the Countach is what makes the car so exciting and engaging. You wouldn't want to take the car on a long road trip, but you would have the time of your life experiencing it on some good roads. And now, the conclusion. The Lamborghini Countach is a legend. It is an incredibly fun car, being very exciting and engaging. It also looks incredible. It really stands out and is one of the best automotive designs ever conceived. The Countach also really put Lamborghini on the map as a brand and lived as a dream on the walls of kids in the 80s. The Lamborghini Countach is a legend that will be remembered forever.